This is the beauty we're going to fix today. Tesla X front air strut. And it's also the same for S facelift front. I just fill it up with air to 7 bar, and we see here so lots of leakages at the top. There's also leakages at the bottom. And additionally we see also here the cuff is broken. So how are we going to fix this? We're going to replace it all with a new set from Vigor, a repair set, where we replace everything except the shock absorber itself. So we are going to dismantle the whole thing and take out the shock absorber, which looks like this. It consists of 2 chambers here, one with nitrogen and one with hydraulic oil, and a piston and a metal spring inside here. And that is not broken on this one, because if this one is broken, then we get a knocking sound from the front. So we reckon that the original shock absorber here will hold for a few more years, and when we replace it with this, we can keep it for the rest of the car's lifetime, I assume. First now we have to clean it a bit and take out the air again before we dismantle the whole thing. So now we have cleaned the fork a bit. We see the Tesla emblem here, and the point now is we're going to reuse the fork. We're just going to pull out shock absorber, which you see here, bottom of it here. It's just like that. I'm just going to pull it all out and put it in the new one here. So here we got a new bellow. It lies, we can see it lies down there around the metal here. And the first thing we're going to do now is to just turn it up the other way, and we're going to loosen it at the top first. To do that, I use a screwdriver to just bend, see here, at the C-ring here, so there, you can bend it. We just bend it, use some force, and we bend it open. Just work a bit with it, and then you get it loose. We use several pliers there in order to get it out. A bit more difficult than I expected, but it went out okay. It is of course other manners to do this, but we don't have the methods here. So now we're gonna just loose the plastic cover there. In order to loose the plastic cover, we just take a plastic hammer and knock very lightly a bit here, and then we use our hands and we just push, then it will come at last. Thank you. And we see how this came at once. I can just pull it out. See here. There we go. Lied in an incorrect position or something. We have a nut to the shock absorber itself, and we have to loosen that. You see we have an Umbraco screw there. And we have to put something in there, and then we loosen that at the same time. So we have to hold it when we loosen the nut. That's what we're going to do now. In order to loosen the nut at the top here for the shock absorber, I used a so-called spline top, or gjennomgående pipe in Norwegian. And we just put that in the middle here. You see the wrench, it's very not a good grip for the wrench here, down here. So just use this spline pipe with a hole in it, and then we take the umbraco key to hold the nut, and we turn with the wrench. It's a 19mm wrench on this. The nut is 17mm. It's not very difficult to loosen. It does not sit tight. Then the nut was loose, and we have to keep that. We're going to reuse the nut together with the shock absorber. And we see here that the shock absorber is now loose. So what we're going to do now is to take off the cuff and to pick out the shock absorber. You see here the method used, and you just have to work yourself around. Now it was ready here. You see here, there's not that much dirt inside there, which is a good thing. And you can just now have to release the aluminium ring here from the plastic cover. I just put a screwdriver in there, push it in here, and I bend a little bit down, and it's doing it all the way around. Then it will come loose. Take care of so you don't need to destroy these barbs, so be a bit careful. You see, when you push the screwdriver in, it will open a little bit, and just push it a little bit down, and we're doing that all the way around. There it comes loose. We see here, and we can roll down the bellow, and it should stop here. That doesn't do that, but anyway, we see here the outer o-ring. There are two inner o-rings inside there, and then the bellow stop. You can look at it. Now we can just drag out the shock absorber, and here it is. And this one we're going to reuse, just the shock absorber, nothing else, and the nut we're going to reuse. So now we have to take off the aluminium ring and replace it with the new one we have here. We're going to place this one there. You see everything is equal, and this is for the top, and then we're just going to put the new shock absorber straight in, the new one. Then we get a new bellow, and we see the bellow, we can see it. Then I have to take off the cuff, but the bellow lies around the aluminium ring here, and it goes up and down. When I do like this, the bellow goes down, and then it goes up again. If you fill the bellow with air, it pushes the plastic cover here upwards. That means it pushes the aluminium ring, or the shock absorber, upwards, and the car will rise. So this is how it functions. So now we have to knock this aluminium ring down, just out of the shock absorber with a plastic hammer. And I oil it a bit in front. I use some corrosion oil just here, just spray a bit here and at the other side. Then I use some lithium fat and take all the way at the strut downwards. So now I put lots of grease on it. You can use whatever grease you have available, but it's important, we don't want to destroy the strut more than necessary. Now we just take the plastic hammer and knock on it. As you see here, it comes quite easily. Just knock it down. When it reaches the bottom here, you just take some protection on and you knock again. You have to knock a bit here to loosen the cover there, the aluminium cover. Now the cover is loose, and we just knock out the aluminium ring. Then everything is loose, and this one also had a leakage from within here. It looks quite okay, some oxidation, you see it at the top there. But it doesn't look too bad, in fact. but it had a small leakage, a big leakage at the top, a small one at the bottom here. So we replaced this with the new set we have here. So then we can just put this away. We also get a new one of these here. Put that one away. Next step is to release the stop ring here. You see it here. It's got a lot of rust here, so I knock a bit on it to get it loose. And I use 2 pliers here to open it up and drag it all the way down here. So now I got that one loose, and I just drag it down, as you see, with the pliers. And we see there's lots of corrosion here, we of course have to fix. And then the stop ring was out, and we have a new one here. We want to replace this one too, so we just put that one also to the side. So now we have to clean, paint, and fix the old air struts that we're going to reuse together with the nut. I just use a drill with a steel brush on, a steel brush and scraper and some sanding paper to clean and prepare it. Now I've cleaned it, sanded it, and brushed it a little bit with a steel brush, and it looks quite okay. I'm going to work a little bit more on it, and then I take some grounding on a tape, but a tape here. I have to do this in two times. First down here, because I have to knock this new one in here, and then it can scratch it a bit up. So I first take some grounding on here and paint on here, down here, then I do the rest after I put this one on. Now we have painted the lower part here, up to here we see. I also have painted the bottom of the strut. So what we're going to do now is put on the new stop ring. I just push it down by hand till I come to here, and then I use 2 pliers, just lift it over there and in here, in the groove there. That went out all right, so now the new stop ring is in place. Now we have to take the new aluminium ring with the 3 O-rings and knock that in place. Greased it quite a lot, and you should also notice that I have taken away some of the edges here. Some manual tools. You can of course use a machine here, because it can be a little bit troublesome to get the first O-ring over there, and you don't want to destroy it. So you see here I've greased it quite a lot. I put it on, and I prefer to take the first level here by hand. I do not knock on the first level there, so I don't destroy the O-rings. That went out okay. I only use my hands to push it over the edge here, the first O-ring. Then I will knock a little bit with a plastic hammer to get the second O-ring over. But be careful. Then I was over the edge, both of the O-rings. Just note that I only use my hands for this. I tried with a hammer a bit, but I'm too afraid for it destroying the O-rings. So I use my hands to the second O-ring was over the edge. Then I use the hammer to knock it down. When it comes as far as this, you can just knock it down, then it's easy. And the last way, you can just slide it into place. So there it is. Then that was ready. And I've cleaned it up. Looks quite good. Also looks under here, looks quite good. And we now have to paint the upper part here. Finished painting. Looks quite good. Now we just have to put on the new aluminium cover down here. It's just to knock down with a plastic hammer. That went out okay. It fits really good. Everything fits very good. So now we just have to put shock absorber into the new air suspension. And as you see here, it's just to put it straight in. See, fits quite good. And then we have to turn it around, fasten the nut the same way we took it off. And we see here, we just put the nut back on. So then it was fastened. I don't have a torch here, but I just did it by hand. It's not that much, but I did what I could. And that should be very fine. And now we just have to put the O-ring for the top here. I cleaned a bit here in place. You have the set down there and the top cover. I just put the O-ring in first, then I take the top cover and I use both hands to just push it down. It is in fact better to put the O-ring on the top cover first, then you just push it down. It's on the rear you do it the other way, the rear air struts. So now that was one in its place. Then we just take the C-ring there, and I have some tools there. With the C-ring here. And this is of course a much better solution than the original one, and I use this tool to just simply put it in place. Then everything is okay on the top. And now what I forgot to mention, that's very important, we have of course to adjust the angle of the fork so it's in the same position as when the old one came out of the car. As a general rule, we have the screws on top here, and between two of them the distance is shorter, and we also have this point here, you see it here, and we just take a water here, have to get it plain, there it was, and then you see the fork shall be about like this. But it's important that you measure the old one, because it can be some degree or 2 or 3. So you want this to be in the exact same position as the old ones. Do the measurements when you dismantle, before you dismantle the old one. This one you can add, the fork you can adjust now. I can adjust it, just turn it that way. It's first when we put pressure on it, and the plastic cover here beneath the cuff, the plastic cover there, is pushed over the aluminium ring, because we fill air in it. Then we cannot adjust this anymore. Air fill set to fill it up with air. Now, this is important, we're gonna push the cover here, the plastic cover, down at the aluminium ring. We don't push it by hand or with a hammer or anything like that. Then you destroy things, and we don't want to do that. So what we do is take the air fill rail and just fasten it. You can also buy this at the net store. Just fasten it with a 10mm wrench. Pull lightly in the hose up, and then you put the air compressor at 1 bar. That is sufficient to push plastic cover down. Just take a moment. The loud sound will come now. Hold it here and you push. And there it comes. So now it's tight down there, and you can already at this stage see if you have done everything correct. So we see here there's no leakages there, no leakages here. It's only one bar inside, but still, if you had done something wrong, you would have a leakage at this point already. Now we just have to put the cuff on. The Vigor cuff is not that difficult to put in place like the original one. You can use, I use some paper, just take around here, and I take it up for hand. When it was ready, cuff it in place. We have used all the parts. So now we have to pressure test it, of course. So we use the air fill hose to do that, and I fill it up to 7 bar approximately. Now the air strut is filled up, and we have to, of course, do the soap spray test. That's the fun part of this. And as we see at the top, no leakages. We have to check the bottom of the air strut. Put some soap spray on here too. And as you see, completely tight. So this air strut is ready to go. So we see that the Vigor air strut repair set, it's identical to the original one, and it's really easy to install. I use only an hour, a little bit more, but I have to wait for the paint to dry, so take a day. But you can do 2 of these in a day. And the big advantage with the repair set is that you get a new bellow. The bellow is also a wear and tear component. Out of 10 air struts that fail, I would say that 2 of those are the bellow that fails. 7 of them are you have a leakage here, or 6 of them, and 1 of them of 10 you have a leakage at the top. The last thing is the shock absorber itself. Sometimes that also fails, but that's seldom. So it's quite safe to reuse the shock absorber, as we have done here. So most likely this air strut will last the rest of the car's lifetime. So that was it for today. Thank you very much, and please like the video and subscribe to the channel. More videos will come.